Hey guys, a beautiful autumn day here in Japan. A little bit of a project going on in the morning at the old Japanese farmhouse. There are a couple of people who claim they'd watch any unskilled labourer video doing anything, so this is a test. Find out if that's true. So some of you might remember we recycled a whole heap of metal recently, including the engine off this lawnmower. But it's got a body with wheels. So the first instinct was to make a go-kart. And then logic kicked in and went, no, we've got enough toys with wheels. We don't really need a go-kart. What we don't have is a wheelbarrow. And we don't really need a wheelbarrow usually, but just occasionally we'll be moving a bag of concrete or a heavy potted plant or something like that that's a bit bulky and a bit hard to carry. And a set of wheels with a handle would be really, really useful. So, unskilled labourers off to the storeroom, look for some appropriate pieces of wood. So again, another one of those projects where we don't want to spend any money at all. So we've got the lawnmower body, we've got all these pieces of wood, we have a huge box of bolts that we'll show you a close-up of shortly. So everything that's needed really. Have you ever noticed what an unusual shape lawnmower bodies are? So it's not square and it's also not symmetrical. So one side curves to steer the grass, isn't it? And the other side doesn't curve in the same way, so it's not symmetrical. So have to overcome that somehow, and also get up above. There's a couple of bits that stick up that are sort of in the way, so we need to get up a bit higher than that. So drill a couple of holes, get a couple of bolts. That box of bolts is amazing. The old guy that lived here before, he had tractors and all sorts of heavy machinery. So he's got bolts, or now we've got bolts, ranging from tiny little 15 mil, 10 mil little ones, up to big, serious 20 centimetre, big, serious ones. So you can see there on the table there's a little box there with little bolts, and then there's a big box. So we collected them. They're just scattered. So those of you who were with us 10 years ago will remember his stuff was just scattered everywhere. And he'd lost track, and he'd obviously gone and bought another spanner and another screwdriver and another hammer and more bolts. And he'd bought a lot of things that he already had. And once we tidied the place up and threw away 10 ton of rubbish, we put all the tools and bolts and screws and everything in this room and put them all together, and it was amazing. So for the last 10 years, anytime we need a screw or a bolt or a nut or a washer, it's there. It's there. It's very, very rare. If we really need something really, really specific, sometimes we might have to buy a screw or a bolt, but usually we can find what we need in his collection. It's just amazing. He wasted a lot of money over the years. I mean, we're getting full advantage of it now, but he bought a lot of things he didn't need. He bought a lot of things he already had two of. Just because he was untidy. He was really untidy. His stuff was just everywhere. Inside the house, those of you who were with us back then will remember, inside the house was a mess. Outside the house was a mess. He just had stuff everywhere. And as a result of that, obviously, he just lost track of what he had and where it was. And the place is so big that once he lost something, he never found it again. It wasn't until we started throwing away truckloads of stuff that we started uncovering boxes of screws and nuts and spanners and little leather bags full of tools and all sorts of stuff that he obviously lost, covered in dust for 10 years, 15 years. So anyway, there's this thing. So we obviously can't do anything too heavy. You wouldn't want to put more than about 100 kilo on it probably. But, a big potted plant or a bag of concrete or something like that we need to move around cost us 0 yen. So just a convenient little thing for free, really. So as to not make the same mistake the old guy made, check out this workshop after a job's finished. Can show you every bolt and every screw and every spanner in that room really quickly. Anyway, there was that. More videos coming soon.